What's up? How are you doing today? So, in this video, we are going to discuss some interesting ways of revision. One of the ways is to install some good apps in your mobile phone, and the app that we are going to talk about is the Magoosh SAT flashcards for the preparation of vocabulary and structures, grammar. See, revision is the mother of all skills, as it is said. In order to develop a skill, we need to revise the content as many times as possible. And there is a concept of intellectual osmosis, which means uh, that we learn things by revision. So when we revise, uh, the content or the knowledge becomes a part of our subconscious memory, and when it becomes a part of our subconscious memory, we can use it anytime. So revision is the key, and my effort is to make revision as interesting and as seamless as possible. So if you're sitting at some place and if you have 10 minutes and you want to revise some concepts quickly, this is one good way. So let's see how these flashcards work. Like for example, I'm currently at writing and punctuation flashcards. So when I click on this, uh, the concept that they are trying to teach us is superlatives. So let me see what exactly is this superlatives. So superlative adjectives are used to describe an object that is at the highest or lowest limit of a particular scale. Use superlative adjectives when describing more than two things. Superlative adjectives use an est suffix or most before the word. Never use both most and est as it says. So fine. I understood what is superlative. He is the brightest student in the most advanced computer class. All right, so I understand that. So I know this and I can move on. So if I say I don't know, this thing would repeat. Now let's say I want to understand how to use semicolons. So let me click at semicolons, and it gives a complete explanation of a semicolon, that you're supposed to use it to separate two sentences which are complete in themselves. So like for example, here they have given an example. I was going to mail the letter, however I forgot. Now these two are complete sentences in themselves. And you can also make use of a semicolon to separate a complicated list. A complicated list is a list which consists of commas and semicolons together. For example, here I'm addicted to puddling to pudding. I have a pudding cup on average 3 times a day. So you know uh, a semicolon is used to separate these two objects. I mean, these two parts of the sentence. But the key is that you have to use a semicolon to separate two sentences which are complete. So semicolon is an alternative for a full stop. So here you have got a semicolon and you can use it. Let me go further. Subject verb agreement. Now this is one particular thing which is the cause of many problems, and this is one very common error seen in SAT writing and language test and various other tests. So let's see what does it say. So it says subject verb agreement means that the subject and the verb of a sentence must agree in number, meaning both need to be singular or both need to be plural. Watch out for collective nouns. So words such as team, university, group, and family are generally all singular, even though they are made up of more than one person. Important to know, when the ACT tests subject verb agreement, it will often put a lot of words between the subject and the verb to fool your ear. For example, now here they have given an example. The philosophy of organic architecture, with the scope of its meaning mirrored in the development of Wright's various architectural projects, was or were. Well, let us see this. The philosophy of organic architecture is the subject, and the rest of it is a modifier, with the scope of its meaning mirrored in the developments of Wright's various architectural projects is the modifier. So I can just cut this modifier, the part which is after with, and see what should come there. The philosophy of organic architecture was consistently present in, so I'll not say were, it has to be was, because the subject is singular in many of his works and all this. The subject is philosophy, which is singular, so the answer is was. So this is how you can use it. Now let's see if you want to revise it. So in case you want to revise it, you will say I don't know the word, and it will keep on revising. If you say I knew this, then it will go forever. Let me say I don't know this. So it will come. So what is the difference between who and whom? So who is subject, whom is object. This is the person whom I was talking about. Who has done this work? Who has done this work is active voice. This is the person about whom I was talking. So I am doing the act. So whom becomes passive. So this is the difference. Now let's see how do they explain it. So if they've given a complete explanation, you can read the example and see it. And if you know it, you can say I knew this. If you don't know it, you can say I did know this. So this is how this becomes very intuitive and easy to learn, and it keeps on revising. The cards become your friend to develop your vocabulary or the knowledge of writing, punctuation, and grammar. Let's see which other cards are there in this. So apart from that, there are writing structures and style. Let us see one or two cards from this. Clarity in phrasing. So this is one particular concept which is tested in the SAT test, and this is also one important aspect of writing. So whenever you are writing, you should write it in such a way that the sentences are easy to understand. So let's see what is the example given here. Clarity in phrasing. So okay, fine, they have given some examples. Less clear, let us see what is this. Less clear. In 1983, Lisa computer, the first personal computer, being one with a graphical user interface, was released by Apple in the same year I was born. Now see the modifiers, the placement of modifiers, and this long sentence is separated by comma makes it very difficult to understand. An easier version is in 1983, the same year I was born, Apple released its Lisa computer, the first personal computer with a graphical user interface. This makes it easy to understand. So the phrasing of the sentence, the structure of the sentence should be easier, and this is one good concept that we should remember. And this is how learning becomes interesting when you learn it with the help of these apps, and you can simply keep on marking it either I don't know this word if you want to revise it, or I knew this in case you know it. And so there are cards which are related to grammar rules, writing and improving sentences, even for maths. There are a collection of cards: geometry, coordinate geometry, trigonometry, advanced maths portions, methods of, there are things related to science, biology, chemistry, physics, and the whole. I mean, it's not something which is very specific to the subjects there, but this is all related to general SAT, and going through it makes a lot of sense for people who are preparing for SAT. And I highly recommend using these flashcards for quick revision. The retention is higher and the whole thing looks like a game. So gamification, or as we generally say these days, edutainment, where education and entertainment come together, the whole learning becomes more interesting because it's very engaging and you feel like doing things rather than getting repelled by the knowledge. So you can use these apps for your purpose. This is the Magoosh app, which has got lots of words and vocabulary and grammatical structures. There are separate apps given by Magoosh for learning words also, which I'll cover after some time. So thank you so much, and you can use this to your advantage. All the best. In case you need any help, you are always welcome to call me on the numbers given below, and I would be able to help you in the best possible way. Thank you.